Have you ever stopped to think about how much time you spend on everything except yourself? Every day, you're busy meeting obligations, responsibilities, and expectations, while you keep putting off the most important thing for later, working on yourself. Now imagine if this constant neglect was holding back your potential, your dreams, even your happiness. How much longer are you going to keep pushing aside the one project that can truly transform your life? You. In this video, I'll show you the 10 essential things you need to work on every day to transform your life from the ground up. This isn't about empty promises or motivational quotes you'll forget tomorrow. It's about concrete steps that can gradually change your life. These principles, inspired by Stoic philosophy, will help you grow, strengthen yourself, and rediscover the purpose we often lose in the chaos of daily life. Are you ready to take control of your life and start this transformation today? Let's get started. 1. Transform your attitude. You've felt it before, haven't you? Facing a problem and feeling like the world is crashing down on you. That overwhelming sense that everything is out of control and there's no way forward. But here's the interesting part. Most of the time, it's not the problem that sinks us. It's how we face it. Let me tell you something. Your attitude is like the rudder of a ship. If it's misaligned, even in calm waters, you'll never reach the shore. Why does this matter so much? Because attitude isn't just about how you see life. It's the foundation of how you respond, grow, and build a stronger, more peaceful existence. What do the Stoics say about this? You've probably heard it before. It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it. Marcus Aurelius summed it up perfectly. You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, the only thing you can control is your reaction. Everything else, it just happens. Think about it. Two people can live through the exact same situation, yet one crumbles while the other finds a way to grow. What's the difference? Their attitude. Take the example of Oksana Masters, the Paralympic athlete. She was born in a region devastated by Chernobyl, a place marked by disaster and hardship. From a young age, she dealt with physical challenges caused by radiation exposure, endured years in 3 different orphanages, and grew up carrying the weight of a seemingly bleak destiny. But here's what really matters. She didn't let bitterness or despair consume her. Oksana made a radical decision. She chose to change her attitude toward life. Her circumstances didn't magically improve overnight, but step by step, her positive attitude allowed her to find strength where others might have only seen limits. She focused on what she could do, not what she couldn't. She used sports as an outlet, not just for her body, but for her mind. Every training session became a way to prove that her story wouldn't be defined by her circumstances, but by what she chose to do with them. Today, Oksana is a world-renowned Paralympic athlete, but that's not what's most inspiring about her. It's how she decided to transform every obstacle into a stepping stone toward her best self. Her attitude didn't just pull her out of the darkness, it gave her a life filled with purpose and strength. Now, let me ask you, what's holding you back? Is it an insurmountable obstacle, or just the way you're looking at it? Changing your attitude is something that requires daily effort. It's not the kind of task you can check off as done at the end of the day. It's more like adjusting the focus on a camera. Every day, you have to tweak the lens just a little to make sure you're seeing things clearly. If you want to transform yourself, start acting as if you already have the attitude you want. Imagine you're an actor in a play, and your role is someone resilient, calm, and strong. How would you walk? What would you say? How would you respond to that problem? Practice it, even if it feels unnatural at first. Also, make a commitment to yourself each morning. Write it down if you have to. Something as simple as, today I won't complain. I'll look for solutions. Or today, I'll face challenges with the best version of myself. Repeat it until it becomes your mantra. Each day it'll get easier, and you'll be amazed at how this small ritual changes your perspective. Working on your attitude is like strengthening a muscle. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Every small change you make today becomes the foundation for a stronger, calmer version of yourself. If Oksana could transform her life against all odds, then you can start today too. 2. Speak less, listen more. When no one listens, words become noise and decisions turn into chaos. Let me tell you how this simple truth changed everything for two lost travelers. Anna and Luis found themselves lost in a dense forest. They had maps and compasses, but the paths were confusing and neither was sure where to go. Anna spoke up first. "Let's go this way, it's the logical route," she said, pointing west. Without giving it much thought, Luis replied, "No, you're wrong. East is the right direction." Refusing to listen to each other, Luis marched off toward what he thought was his destination, and Anna, frustrated, went her own way. Hours later, both were even deeper in the forest, completely disoriented. By chance, they crossed paths again. This time, Luis did something different. He stopped, took a deep breath, and listened. Instead of rushing to defend his point of view, he asked, "What did you see on the map that I missed?" Surprised by his change in attitude, Anna explained the signs she had noticed, marked trees, rocks, and the sun as a guide. Together, they analyzed the information and, by working as a team, found the right path out of the forest. The real problem wasn't the forest or the confusing trails. It was their lack of listening and connection. Like Anna and Luis, we often fail to see that the key to finding solutions lies in our ability to listen. And it's not just about solving problems. It's about growing and building deeper relationships. Have you ever wondered why we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth? Epictetus summed it up simply. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Makes sense, doesn't it? But it's not just about hearing words. It's about understanding what's left unsaid, the emotions, the nuances, the context. That's where strong relationships are built, and true impact is made. Imagine you're having an argument with your partner. You have your reasons, and they have theirs. Voices rise, emotions flare. But this time, pause. Take a breath. Listen, not just to the words, but to the tone, the gestures, the feelings they might not know how to express. That pause, that willingness to truly listen, can completely shift the direction of the conversation. The tension fades, and what could have been just another conflict becomes an opportunity for a deeper connection. Chris Voss, a communication expert and former FBI negotiator, talks about the power of active listening. He suggests techniques like mirroring what the other person says to validate their emotions, or asking questions that show genuine interest. It's not about manipulation. It's about connection. It's about building bridges instead of walls, and that takes daily effort. So how can you start working on this today? Sometimes we don't even realize we're not fully present. So next time, turn off autopilot. Put down your phone, look the other person in the eye, and listen as if what they're saying is the most important thing you'll hear all day. And as Chris Voss suggests, validate their emotions. For example, if a friend tells you they're stressed about work, instead of jumping in with quick solutions, say something like, "I can see why you're feeling overwhelmed. That sounds really tough." This not only calms the other person, but also opens the door to a deeper, more meaningful conversation. Working on your communication isn't just about improving your relationships. It's about becoming a better version of yourself. When you learn to listen, you start to connect with others, and more importantly, with yourself. Because just like Anna and Luis, no matter how complicated the forest may be, if you learn to communicate with impact, you'll always find the right path. If you're finding this content valuable, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to unlock unique perks. And let us know in the comments, what are you willing to work on today to become the best version of yourself? We want to grow alongside you. 3. Master your self-discipline. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but the reason you're not achieving your goals is simple. You lack discipline. Without discipline, you have no control. It's like trying to row a boat full of holes. You can put in all the effort you want, but without fixing the foundation, you'll never get anywhere. You can dream of a better life, grand achievements or becoming the best version of yourself. But without discipline, those dreams are just air. Let me ask you something. Think about it seriously. How many times have you left something unfinished because you didn't have the strength to keep going? Probably more times than you'd like to admit. And here's the truth. Without self-discipline, there's no freedom. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And he didn't say this from a place of comfort. He said it as someone who knew firsthand what it meant to live in chains, literally, as a slave. Even though he couldn't control his surroundings, Epictetus understood there was one thing no one could take from him: his mind. Day by day, he worked on mastering his discipline, his thoughts, his emotions, and his reactions. While his body was bound, his will was unbreakable. If he could find freedom in the worst circumstances, what excuse do you have? Listen, discipline isn't something you either have or don't have. It doesn't magically fall from the sky. It's something you build day by day. Think of it as the cement that holds everything in place as you construct something bigger. Every time you choose what's right over what's easy, you're strengthening that foundation. And trust me, the rewards are worth the effort. Picture this. You decide to cook all your meals at home for an entire month. Sounds like a solid plan for improving your health and saving money, right? But by day 3, you're exhausted after work, and grabbing your phone to order takeout feels so easy, so tempting. That's where self-discipline kicks in. In that critical moment, you have two choices: give in and set your goals back, or resist and grow stronger. When you resist, you're training your mind to prioritize the important over the immediate. The first week will be tough, no doubt. But little by little, you'll develop a mental strength that will spill over into other areas of your life. So, how can you start working on your self-discipline today? As simple as it sounds, start with a small commitment to yourself, something visible and easy to achieve. Write it down where you'll see it constantly. A sticky note on your mirror, a reminder on your desk, or even as your phone's wallpaper. By making it visible, you can't ignore it. But don't stop there. Make it as easy as possible to eliminate excuses. For example, if your goal is to wake up earlier, place your alarm clock across the room. That way, you'll have to get out of bed to turn it off. And once you're up, it's harder to go back to sleep. Want to start running? Lay out your clothes and shoes the night before. In the morning, you won't waste time deciding what to wear or finding an excuse to stay in. Want to read more? Leave the book on your nightstand or next to your coffee cup, so it's the first thing you grab instead of your phone. The key is to build an environment that works in your favor. The easier it is to follow through on your commitment, the more likely you are to stick to it, no matter what. And do you know what you'll gain? Confidence and discipline. And that confidence will become the foundation you need to tackle even bigger challenges. 4. Challenge your own beliefs. I'm not good at this. That's not for me. I've always been this way. Do these phrases sound familiar? You've probably said or thought them more times than you'd like to admit. But let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think about where they come from? Are they actually true, or just stories you've been telling yourself for years? Because here's the thing. Those beliefs aren't set in stone. It's like finding a massive rock blocking your front door. You convince yourself it's impossible to move, so you don't even try. But when you finally decide to push it, you realize it's made of foam and crumbles with just a touch. Seneca put it simply centuries ago. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of our limitations don't exist in the real world. They live in our minds. Do you know why you think you can't do something, or that you're not capable? Because you've convinced yourself of that before even trying. It's like living in a cage, but the door has been open the whole time. Picture this. As a kid, people told you you were bad at math. Every time you tried, you made mistakes. And over time, you became convinced that you just weren't a numbers person. Years later, you still believe it. But one day, out of curiosity, you sign up for a basic math course. At first, it's hard, of course. But little by little, surprise, you start understanding complex concepts with practice. And what do you learn from this course? Not just math. You learn that the beliefs holding you back can be challenged and destroyed. Do you see how powerful this is? Most of the time, we're not limited by our abilities, but by the stories we tell ourselves. And those stories are dangerous if we don't question them. How many opportunities have you missed because you believed you weren't good enough? How many times have you stopped yourself before even trying? Now let me tell you how you can start working on this today. First, make a list of the limiting beliefs you have about yourself. Write down phrases like, "I'm not good at public speaking," or "I'll never learn another language." Then pick one and question its validity. Ask yourself, what real evidence do I have that this is true? Or who told me this? You'll often discover it's just insecurity, or a hurtful comment someone made in the past. Next, act as if that belief doesn't exist. For example, if you think you can't run long distances, go out and run, even if it's just for 5 minutes. If you believe you can't speak in public, sign up for a workshop. The key is to do something about it. Work on this every day. It's the best way to break a limiting belief and prove to yourself that you were wrong. Remember this, challenging your beliefs isn't easy, but it's essential for growth. Every time you break a mental chain, you open the door to a freer, more authentic version of yourself. Because working on this doesn't just free you from your own limits, it shows you that you're far more capable than you ever imagined. Now tell us in the comments, what's one thing you've always believed about yourself? Will you dare to challenge it today? 5. Make the most of every minute. Time is a strange resource. Invisible, intangible, yet you feel it like a constant current that never stops. It's as if the clock moves faster when you need more time and slower when you're eager to move forward. Remember the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? Always rushing, clutching his watch and shouting, "I'm late! I'm late!" That's how many of us live. But the truth is, it's not that we lack time, it's that we don't know how to use it. And this isn't a new problem. Seneca said it centuries ago. It's not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. Be honest. How many times have you wondered at the end of the day where all your time went? Social media, distractions, tasks that weren't really important. All of it adds up like tiny leaks in a boat. By the time you notice, your time has slipped away. This might surprise you, but some people don't let a single minute of their day go to waste. Let me share a story about someone who taught me one of the greatest lessons about time. Back when I worked in the city, I took the subway every morning and always saw the same man, Javier. We'd take the same train at the same time. While most of us were glued to our phones or staring into space, Javier did something different. He always had a book in his hands. Philosophy, leadership, personal development. Every day it was a new title. At first I thought he just loved to read, but then I noticed him taking notes and highlighting passages. One day I worked up the courage to ask him about it. He told me those 2 hours on the subway were his time to grow, his investment in himself. "It's time others let slip away, but for me it's gold," he said. And he wasn't exaggerating. Over the years, those small, consistent moments made a huge difference in his professional and personal life. Let me give you the best advice you'll hear today. Your time is gold, but only if you know how to use it, just like Javier. So, how can you start working on this every day? When you have something important to do, set aside a specific block of time to focus solely on that task. For example, if you need to study or work on a project, turn off your phone, close social media, and commit to an hour of pure focus. When you're done, take a break and repeat. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish with this simple strategy of total concentration. Also, look for those dead moments in your day. Are you waiting in line? Use that time to read something interesting, listen to an audiobook, or reflect on your goals. Taking public transport? Bring along a book or a podcast that inspires you. Those seemingly insignificant minutes, when added up, can become something huge over time. And here's a fundamental tip. Every morning, make a list of your priorities, but keep it simple. 3 tasks are enough. Write them down and keep them visible. Work on those tasks first before less important things take over your day. It's a small habit that not only keeps you organized, but also gives you a sense of accomplishment by the end of the day. Making the most of your time isn't just about doing more. It's about deciding who you want to become. Every minute you use wisely brings you closer to a calmer, more purposeful life. So tell me, are you going to keep letting time slip through your fingers, or will you start making the most of it today? 6. Learn and apply. Might sound like a cliche, but love has a remarkable way of pushing us to do things we never thought possible. But here's the catch. It only works for those who are willing to question their own beliefs. You remember what you learned earlier, right? Want to know how I know this? Because it happened to Anna, my neighbor. She spent her whole life believing that learning a new language was out of reach for her. "It's too late for me," she used to say. But one day, her daughter got married and moved abroad. Time passed and Anna became a grandmother. But there was a problem. Her grandson only spoke English. Anna didn't want to be just the grandma who smiles from the screen. She wanted to understand him, talk to him, and share moments, even if only through a video call. So, she decided to learn English. She started small. YouTube videos, mobile apps, and a notebook full of basic phrases. It wasn't easy, but with every new word, she felt like she was building a bridge to her grandson. No, Anna isn't about to give lectures in English or read a Shakespeare novel, but she achieved her goal. She can understand him. She can laugh with him. And do you know why? Because she applied what she was learning. I'm sharing this story to show you the power of continuous learning. When you choose to learn something new, you're not just gaining knowledge, you're expanding your world. It's like opening a new window in a room you thought you already knew. Suddenly more light pours in, and you see things you hadn't noticed before. You've probably experienced this too. You finished high school or college and thought you didn't need to learn anything else. But listen to what Epictetus has to say. A man cannot learn what he thinks he already knows. If you think you know it all, you're shutting the door on change, growth, and the possibility of becoming better. Now imagine this. What would happen if you decided to push that door open and explore everything you still have to learn? Don't just take my word for it. A study from the Journal of Neuroscience shows that learning new things has a direct impact on your life. It improves your memory, strengthens your problem-solving skills, and helps you adapt better to change. Keeping your mind active isn't a luxury, it's essential. Every time you learn something new, it's like sharpening a knife. With each step, you become more precise, stronger, and better prepared to handle whatever comes your way. Now picture this. You're in a work meeting, and someone mentions a new tech tool you don't understand. You could stay quiet and feel insecure, or you could decide it's the perfect moment to learn something new. You sign up for an online course, dedicate a few minutes a day, and what's the result? Not only do you understand the tool, but you're also confident using it. That's what it means to learn and apply, to turn uncertainty into opportunity. And you don't need massive changes to get started. Think of something you've always wanted to learn. It could be as simple as cooking a new dish, mastering a spreadsheet, or even learning to dance salsa. Spend just 15 minutes a day on it. 15 minutes might seem small, but it's like planting a seed. Day after day, that small action turns into a habit, and the habit leads to real change. The key is applying what you learn. Let's be honest, knowledge is useless if you don't put it to work. It's like buying a shiny new bike and never taking it out of the garage. Learning isn't just for students in school or university. It's for anyone who wants to grow, who wants to build a fuller and more resilient life. So why not set a goal to learn something new today? It could be a language, a skill, or even a small personal challenge. Share it with the community in the comments. Who knows? Your idea might inspire someone else to start their own learning journey. 7. Take control of your finances. My friend, let me be clear. Do you want to know why you can't save or achieve financial stability? It's because you're not paying attention to where your money is going. It's that simple. You probably find yourself asking, where did all my earnings go this month? And the answer is always the same. Impulsive, meaningless expenses. Listen, money isn't the problem. The problem is how you manage it. Not long ago, I heard a fascinating story. The expert John Earl Shoaff once asked businessman Jim Rohn, Do you have your goals for the year written down? Confidently, Jim replied that he didn't. Shof, with a knowing smile, said, "Then I can guess how much money you have in your account." Spoiler alert, it wasn't much. And spoiler number 2, he was right. It might sound sarcastic, but Shof had a point. If you don't know what you want to achieve, it's like trying to cross the ocean without a map. Your money scatters, disappears into meaningless expenses, and by the end of the month, you're left wondering where it all went. Setting clear goals doesn't just organize your life. It gives purpose to every dollar you spend or save. Think about it for a moment. The problem isn't how much you earn, but how much you need to feel at peace. If Seneca were alive today, he probably wouldn't rush to buy the latest phone model just because it's new. He'd likely manage his finances wisely, with a simple budget, intentional decisions, and a focus on what truly matters. After all, as he said, wealth is not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Let me share how we handle this in my family. It might help you. At the start of the year, we create a detailed budget. Everything is planned out, from daily expenses to the money we want to save for vacations. We use small envelopes to allocate funds for each goal. For example, if there's an envelope for vacations, that money is untouchable no matter what. And while it might seem insignificant, by the end of each month the difference is noticeable. But this isn't something we do once and forget. It's a habit we repeat every month. So how can you start working on this today? First, define your goals. You can't take control of your finances if you don't know what you want to achieve with them. Write down your objectives, no matter how small they might seem. Paying off a debt, saving for a trip, or building an emergency fund. From there, create a monthly budget. It's easier than it sounds. Divide your income into categories: essentials, savings, entertainment. Even if you don't earn much, having a plan will help you see clearly where your money is going. And you'll stop spending on things that don't add value to your life. Don't forget this. Avoid becoming attached to material things. Morgan Housel, in his book, The Psychology of Money, shares a lesson worth remembering. The key to managing money isn't how much you have, but how you use it. Every financial decision you make should align with what truly matters to you, not with what others expect you to do. At the end of the day, money isn't a goal in itself. It's a tool, one that, if used wisely, can help you build a more fulfilling and serene life. But this doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. 8. Get better every day. Let me be direct. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to improve, day by day. It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting instant results, but listen, real change doesn't happen overnight. It's like carving a sculpture, one small chisel stroke after another, steady and consistent, until the block of stone reveals something extraordinary. Marcus Aurelius put it best: waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. But what does that mean in practice? It means taking action every single day, even when the progress feels insignificant. Because in the end, it's not the grand effort of one day that transforms your life, but the small, consistent actions you repeat every day. Picture this. You spend hours at your desk day after day, and your posture starts taking a toll. Rounded shoulders, back pain, that discomfort that never seems to go away. You know something needs to change, but the thought of joining an intense program feels overwhelming. Here's the thing. You don't need a radical overhaul to start improving. Begin with something simple. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to specific stretches for your posture. Just 5 minutes, but do it every day. During the first week, you might not notice much, but little by little, you'll start to feel the difference. Your shoulders relax, the pain eases, and your confidence begins to grow. Those small steps, repeated daily, become something much greater. Have you heard of the concept of Kaizen? It's the Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement. Apply this principle. Don't aim for massive changes overnight. Instead, ask yourself, what can I improve today, even just a little? If you decide to start with 5 minutes of stretching, do it. Tomorrow, add another minute or focus more deeply. The key is to keep moving forward, even if it's just a tiny step each day. Really, don't overthink it. If you improve by just 1% each day, by the end of the year, your growth will be exponential. Why? Because small progress builds on itself. It's like rolling a snowball downhill. It starts small, but with every turn it grows larger and more powerful. So, are you ready to get better every day? First, identify the area of your life where you want to improve. Write it down somewhere you'll see it often. Next, break it down into small, manageable steps. If it's your posture, find a video with basic stretches and commit to those 5 minutes. If it's productivity, set a timer and focus for 20 minutes. The idea is to build on each small success, like a chain that never breaks. Kaizen doesn't just help you improve, it teaches you something crucial. Progress is more powerful than perfection, and when you apply it to your daily life, you'll realize that those tiny efforts add up until change becomes inevitable. And what about the days when it feels like you're not making any progress? Here's the key: don't stop. Even a small step is better than none, because every action you take, no matter how minor, is a statement of your commitment to yourself. That's how you improve, not just in what you do, but in who you are. So tell me, what's going to be your first step? Remember, the only thing you need to start improving today is the decision to do it. And who knows, maybe a year from now you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. 9. Find your purpose. Let me ask you something. Why do you do what you do every day? I'm not talking about your routine or responsibilities, but the real reason that drives you. If your answer is, I don't know, or because I have to, then listen to this. Living without a clear purpose is like rowing a boat with no destination. You work hard, you get tired, but you never truly get anywhere. Living without purpose is like trying to cross an ocean without a compass. You put in effort, you struggle, but you never find your way. The key is to act. It doesn't matter if your purpose is big or small. What matters is that every decision you make aligns with it. That's why Epictetus said, decide what you want to be, and then do what you have to do. Tony Estruch, author of Talent and Living with Purpose, puts it plainly. Finding your purpose isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Having a clear reason that gives meaning to your daily actions not only makes you happier, but also more resilient and focused. So take a moment to identify what truly matters to you. What's that one thing you do even if no one paid you for it? What activity, no matter how small, makes you feel alive and connected to yourself? Picture this. Your neighbor, an ordinary man with a job like anyone else, decides to do something different. Every month he organizes a small group to clean up the community park. Why does he do it? Sure, he wants his kids to grow up in a pleasant environment, but he also understands that his small actions have a larger impact. Do you know what Tony Estruch would tell your neighbor? That his simple act of cleaning the park once a month has more impact than he realizes. Because finding your purpose isn't about changing the entire world all at once. It's about connecting your daily actions to something that gives meaning to your life. Now, let's talk about you. What would you do if you knew that every small effort, no matter how insignificant it seems, could transform not only you, but also those around you? That's what Estruch teaches. Purpose isn't something you wait for. It's something you build with every step you take. Do you already know what your purpose is? If you do, take a moment to reflect on what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what do I want to change in my life or the world? Or, what is important to me? Once you've figured it out, apply what Tony Estruch calls the purpose compass. Divide your daily actions into 2 categories: those that bring you closer to your purpose and those that don't. For example, if your purpose is to be more productive at work, you know that constantly checking your phone won't help. What will bring you closer? Organizing your day into time blocks and eliminating distractions while you work. Use this compass to decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. And remember something important. Your purpose doesn't have to be something huge or heroic. You don't need to change the entire world. Just change something that matters to you. It could be cleaning a park, teaching someone something new, or simply becoming a better version of yourself every day. Finding your purpose doesn't mean everything will suddenly become easy. There will be days when you feel lost or drained, but don't let that discourage you. Those days are part of the process too. Because working toward your purpose each day is what gives your life meaning, even in the toughest moments. 10. Be grateful for every detail. Gratitude is like a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. It doesn't stop the rain or the waves, but it lights the way. How often do you stop to search for that light? Probably not often enough. Amid the chaos of daily life, it's easy to forget the simplest yet most important thing: to pause and be grateful. Marcus Aurelius captured it perfectly. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Now tell me, how often do you do that when you wake up? If you're like most people, probably never. And that's exactly where change begins. Let me share the story of Juanjo Fraile, a speaker who discovered gratitude as a transformative tool. He once lived with a rigid, analytical mindset, but it was the simple act of expressing gratitude that changed his life. For him, gratitude is like fertile soil where meaningful projects and experiences grow. It's not about ignoring your problems, but facing them with a sense of connection and strength. Think of it this way. Maybe you've been struggling with a health issue for a while. Some days are good, others feel endless. But then, in the midst of it all, something unexpected happens. Your kids laugh with you over something silly, or you share a simple conversation at dinner. Those moments don't solve the problem, but they remind you that, despite everything, there are reasons to be grateful. And here's the key. Gratitude isn't just a nice sentiment, it's a practical tool. It's like adjusting the focus on a camera. You can choose to see everything that's wrong, or you can focus on the details that make life worth living. So, how can you start? First, at the end of each day, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, what 3 things can I be grateful for today? They don't have to be major accomplishments. It could be that someone smiled at you, that you enjoyed your coffee, or that the day turned out better than expected. These small moments are the building blocks of a fuller life. And here's something else. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it. A simple "thank you for being here" or "I really appreciated that moment with you" can completely change someone else's day. It also deepens your connection with the people around you. Juanjo Fraile puts it perfectly. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's a muscle you train. It changes how you see the world and helps you find stability, even in the middle of chaos. The question is, are you ready to train that muscle? Because while it might seem like a small gesture, practicing gratitude every day has the power to transform how you live. So, what 3 things could you be grateful for today? Trust me, that's the first step toward a more peaceful and fulfilling life. I invite you to work on yourself every single day, making each small effort a building block in the creation of your best self. Remember, it's not about drastic changes or instant perfection. It's about consistency, purpose, and finding meaning in every action you take. Each day is a new opportunity to grow, improve, and appreciate what you have as you move closer to the life you truly desire. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "Today, I start working on myself." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.